Your emotions are valid, but they do not define my direction. Come on, say it with me. They do not define my directions. I'm building something that even my feelings and your feelings cannot break. I love you. Well, what's up, family? It's your boy, it's your preacher, Jaheem President, back for another episode of Legacy Builders Podcast. Come on, the crowd goes wild, or at least it goes wild in my question. And we're back here for another episode as we continue to build legacy. And today's episode, I want to talk to the ones who are in between. You feel tired. You feel confused, even a little disconnected, and you're trying to hold it together, but inside it just doesn't feel right. And I've come to let you know that this episode is for you. Before I before I get into anything I'm going to talk about today, I need you to like and share and like. Follow us at Instagram. I really do need y'all showing some more love to Instagram. Follow me on all social media platforms. If you just tag my stuff is in the bio. But first, subscribe to us at Jaheem President TV on YouTube. But this episode is for you because I believe that because real faith today isn't about hype or pretending that you got it all together. It's not about that. It's about choosing to believe that there's more, even when your feelings are telling you to give up. So let's talk today. No fluff, no filters, just faith. Let's get into it. And I want to start off today's conversation. Let's be real. Feelings are loud. Like, your feelings can be loud. Sometimes it can be overwhelming. Sometimes they can drown out everything that's inside of your head. And you sometimes you can wake up overwhelmed. You can wake up anxious. Anybody ever woke up anxious, frustrated, or just plain tired? Like, anybody of you woke up? I just moved a couple weeks ago. I know you can see a little changer in the scenery. I moved and literally like 4 days after I moved, I was like literally tired. I didn't want to do anything, but I still had to go to work. So work summer school. Shout out to me completing, since last episode, me completing my second successful year as a teacher. Come on, clap it up. Clap it up. Clap it up. It's been a journey, but I thank God for all of my students. Some of my students even listen to my podcast. So shout out to all the students that I taught and didn't taught. Just let you know, Mr. President loves you. And I wouldn't be who I am without y'all. So shout out to y'all. But you wake up, you feel every day you're feeling something. You're feeling either happy, you're feeling either sad, mad, confused. But while feelings are real, you're entitled to everything you feel. I hate when people say, especially during the grieving period, I hate when people say, "Oh, you shouldn't feel this, you shouldn't feel that. Oh, you should do this," or after a breakup, or even after a marriage. Some people will be like, "Oh, the honeymoon phase should be over," or when you're in a relationship, "Oh, this phase should be over." No, it's dependent on person. And what we have to do in today's society is we have to stop telling people how to feel. Like, it's so like we stereotype everything. We think that every black person should feel this way, or every white person should feel this way, and that's how we trap ourselves into thinking that our feeling is right. That thinking that just because you feel some type of way, that I'm supposed to feel some type of way, and that's not true. But what I am supposed to do is supposed to respect your feelings. But that doesn't always mean that your feelings is right. That doesn't always mean that I have to agree with you. And I think in today's society, we kind of like drawn the line and say, you got to either feel this way or you got to feel that way. There's no in between. And if you feel opposites from what I feel, then it deems you incorrect. It deems you the wrong person, but just because I feel like my feelings are right. And they tell you it's not working. Sometimes your feelings will tell you it's not working. Sometimes your feelings will tell you that it is working when it's not working. But here's the truth: feelings should never have the final say. Your feelings should never have the final say of what you do. Your feelings should never have the final say of what and where you become, because I think it's in that moment that when we give our feelings the final say, like when you do stuff out of emotion, when you act out of emotion and not out of fact. Because I believe you got to operate out of fact and emotions. There got to be some emotion attached to it, but there also got to be some fact. Because if I only move out of fact only, then I won't be compassionate. If I move out of feeling only, then I'm overzealous. I'm overdoing this. And so let me say this: you can feel afraid and still move forward. I think sometimes in life we hold ourselves in that mental prison. And we do it to ourselves more than other people do it to us. So here it is. We got to stop giving other people more credit over things that we do, that we decide, choices that we make daily. I think I've said that every episode of this podcast. We can't let people control or have that much control of us. And we got to stop thinking that people have that much control of us. It's crazy. It's crazy how this thing goes. And so you don't have to ignore your emotions, but you don't have to obey them either. I'm not telling you, this episode is not telling you don't listen to your emotions. I'm not saying that, but I'm also saying that you don't have to obey, and you don't have to ignore. And so today's episode is really about walking that line of faith and feelings. Are they really competing with each other? Or do we have them competing with each other? And how many of us have made emotional decisions in these first 6 months of the year that has cost us peace, progress, and purpose? See, here it is. That's all I'm after in this next season of my life, in this next element, in this next era of my life. Peace, progress, and purpose. And here it is. You can have all three of those at the same time. Sometimes one may be louder. Sometimes you may have to feed into other, but you can have peace, progress, and purpose. You sent the text you shouldn't have. Balloons. You quit the dream too early. You ghosted that opportunity because fear screamed louder than you believe. I interviewed for 2 jobs. I interviewed for 2 jobs this spring, and I didn't get either one of them. And so what I stepped out on faith. Here it is. I stepped out on faith, and I interviewed for the jobs. Made it to the second round of one job. Got a nice, denial level from another job because I didn't have enough experience, but that's neither here nor there. And for a while, I thought I wasn't good enough, or I thought there was like, come on. But if I didn't talk myself out of the opportunity, I had no experience in either. Well, I'm a teacher. One of them was an educational job, and one of them was a ministerial job. Now, I didn't have enough ministerial experience for one job. And it's a bigger ministry, it's a great ministry. And the school I applied for is a world-renowned school. And, and when I looked at the application, I was like, oh my God, no, they're not going to pick me. But if I had let my emotions of not feeling adequate enough talk me out of it, I wouldn't have gotten to the second round in one job and a good denial letter, a denial that really pretty much said, we love you, just not right now. And how many of us have talked ourselves out of something that your future needs? How many of you have done that? Really, how many of you have talked yourself out of trying out for that team? How many of you talked of going after that business, going after that person, God, going after moving? Hey, listen, I just moved. And I was wrestling with moving. I really was, because the place I was in wasn't a bad place. It was a good, decent place. And how the way I was fixing my bills, But the place I move in now is literally $100 more. And so, but there was a wrestle in me. It was like, no, how you gonna pay your bills, him? How you gonna do that? How you gonna do that? And then I had to tell myself, no, Jaheim, you got this. You gotta have faith. And you listen, and some things you can do scary. I had to do the scare. I had to move in here scared. It's the first of the month. And I'm already feeling the new movement. But I had to do it to know that I'm capable of doing it. Because I want to get my house in 2 years. I'm going to get my house in 2 years. But how could I get my house in 2 years if I couldn't make the step? So have you I want you to answer that question in the comments. You can DM me, you can do it, but have your feelings ever talked you out of something that your future needed? And so here it is. You don't have to fake it. You don't have to fake it in this next season, in this next 6 months of the year. You don't have to fake it. You don't have to be fake to have faith. Some of us we waiting to put it all together. We waiting to I'm recording off my phone, y'all. We waiting to do this and to do that, but you don't have to fake it. You can believe better is possible and stay right now and still say right now I'm struggling. Look, I ain't got it all together. God, I'm far from it. But I believe that better is on the way. I always text my friends when we're going through. I'm always a comic relief. One of my friends, Cameron, his dog died. R.I.P. Gucci. His dog died. And I have this jokiness about me. And I literally was like, when he called, I was like, first I was sleeping and then called whatever. And then, he's down. Of course, dog, man, best friend. And I text him, it's gonna get better. My friend Nicole, when we're going through our little things, different things that we go through, I text her, I'll be like, it's going to get better. My friend, Michaela, I always text her. I tell her that because it is going to get better. It may not be better now. I may be struggling. I may be mad as I don't know what. But I still command myself that it's going to get better. And so there's this pressure out here to look strong. This is real life pressure, social media pressure, life pressure, ministry pressure, anything. There's a pressure out here to look strong and to be unbothered and to have a glow up in every season. That is not true. You're not going to glow up in every season. You're going to improve. You're going to get better. You're going to get wiser. You're going to get smarter. But not every season is going to be a glow up. Not every season is going to be a season where you getting this and you're posting every major victory. Sometimes you gotta be so glad that you had some minor victories. And in this last 6 months of the year, I didn't accomplish everything major I wanted to, but I had little minor victories. I had little minor things that'll add up each day. That'll add up each time to a major victory. Major victories is nothing but minor victories just added up. Stop chasing that lottery success. Stop chasing that lottery fantasy. Because guess what? You're allowed to feel. You're allowed to break down and rebuild as much times as you want to. That doesn't qualify your journey, but it deepens it. You know how many times I start and restart? You know how many times I start with this podcast and go faithful and da-da-da-da? You know how many times I da-da-da? And that doesn't mean I'm not celebrating the fact that I quit, but it's that I'm celebrating the fact that I never stayed down long enough. And can I tell you this? I'm congratulating you. Look, I'm clapping it in the mic because no matter what you've been going through these last 6 months, we're in July, no matter how many times you may have to rebuild and retake and do this and do that, I am congratulating you because you broke down, but you allowed yourself to be rebuilt. And that takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of strength. It really does. It really does. And so one powerful thing that you can admit is I'm not okay today, but I'm still showing up. Listen, there's many days my students didn't know it. My coworkers didn't know it. There are many days I was not depressed, sad, mad, frustrated. There it is. Frustrated. But I still had to show up for my kids. I still had to show up, not even for my kids. I had to show up for myself. Because showing up for myself means that I wasn't going to dwell there long. I wasn't. And so let me ask you, when was the last time you were honest with someone about how you really felt? We always like to say, oh, I'm doing pretty fair. No, I'm doing bad. But don't pity me because I'm doing bad. Here it is. And when I'm saying I'm doing it, don't pity me. Don't say, oh, da da da. No. Just pray. Give me some motivation. Give me some strength. And know that I'm going to come out of it, because I love this about the circle that I have. They know that I ain't gonna stay down long, and they ain't gonna allow me to stay down long, and they're gonna do it in real time. I can be honest of how I feel. And do you have a space or a person where you can stop performing? Do you have that circle of friends? Do you have that people, that space that'll let you do that? And so I'm moving on. When you feel nothing at all. Some of us, we wake up some days and don't feel nothing at all. Let's talk about those seasons where you don't feel anything. You not overly sad, not angry. You're just numb, unmotivated, uninspired, checked out. And that's the season where most people quit. Because they think silence means that nothing is happening. But the truth is, here it is. The truth is, y'all. The truth is it. And I gotta end this. I got 4 more minutes. The truth is, sometimes the most important growth happens in the silence. I'm telling you. Sometimes because we're in that age where we want to glow up every time. Sometimes when somebody goes silent, I'm anticipating what they're gonna come up with next. I promise you, some of the people that I admire the most who are doing podcasts, who are doing this, when they're silent, I'm like, okay, what they gonna come back with? I know they're working on something. Just because I'm silent doesn't mean I'm dead. Just because you don't have nothing to post every day, you don't have an announcement every day, just because you're dead, doesn't mean you're dead. That means sometimes you gotta simmer a little bit. And I'm thankful for your simmering season. I really am. Because consistency is often more powerful than clarity. God, that's good. Consistency is often more powerful than clarity. And so let me end these last 3 minutes with this. What if this season in life is teaching you how to trust without needing proof? Oh my God, that's good. What if this thing is telling you, what if this season is sharpening your sensitivity in your next step? Some of us, the places we're going, the places we're doing, we need to be more sensitive to the times and the places and the spaces. And sometimes you don't always need that instant gratification. And so faith doesn't mean you have all the answer. It means you decided not to give up because something inside of you still believes that this can't be the end. I tell people all the time, this is not the end of my story. This is not the end of my life. This is not the end of my season. This is not the end because there is got to be something better beyond this. I'm grateful for this. God, I am. But there's something better beyond this. And I'm going to believe that I'm going to see it. And so even if you don't call it faith in a religious sense, and some of us are not religious on here, it's still faith when you wake up every day and try again. It's faith when you apologize and rebuild. It's faith, or it's tenacity when you believe love, healing, and purpose is still possible. It's still, you don't have to feel strong to be strong. You just have to trust that you're not stuck. God, I'm dropping quotes today. You don't have to feel strong to be strong. You just have to trust that you're not stuck. Oh my God, that's good. And what I've learned is that faith, tenacity, The willingness to show up every day will sometimes have you looking crazy, will sometimes lead you into a place of unfamiliarity. And so when you're walking throughout your day, when you're listening to this, when you're grasping the next area, when you're planning out your blueprint for this next 6 months, you have to realize it's faith versus feelings. Am I going to let my feelings win today? Am I going to let my faith go under today? Am I not going to believe and to rebound and to rebuild because I don't believe I can? Because what's one thing in your life that you're still trying to trust for, even if it doesn't make sense yet? This podcast, oh my God, is a perfect example of the life I'm living. Listen, I be like, I done spent a lot of money on this equipment. And sometimes I get a little bit of imposter syndrome. We'll talk about that later. Where I don't feel like I got nothing to say. But then sometimes people be like, Jamie, what is the podcast? Sometimes I'll sit and watch other people's podcasts and say, yeah, I can do that. Jamie, get up your behind and go record. No, but I'm letting my feelings of not feeling worthy. I'm letting my feelings of, am I doing that? I'm not doing this. No, let your faith talk. And I had to do that. And I had to say that one area where your feelings keep shouting, give up, but your guts keep saying, hold on. That's where your legacy is built. My God, let me say that again. I gotta get out of here, y'all. I gotta get out of here. I don't want to be here too long, and I'm not trying to preach. Y'all, I'm not trying to preach. I'm just trying to have a conversation with you. But that one area where your feelings keep shouting, "Give up," but your gut, your inner man, your inner heart, your inner spirit is saying, "Hold on." That is the foundation where your legacy will be built. The one area where your feelings, your heart, is telling you to give up, but your gut is telling you to hold on. That's where your legacy is built, people. And I know this episode was different, y'all, but that's what legacy building is about. It's not about perfection, but progress, not hype, healing. I'm on a healing journey as well, y'all. Not just faith, not just consistency, not just tenacity, but the faith that's lived out in real life. And here's your challenge this week as I leave you, y'all, and we'll be here in another episode. I'm trying to get back to Monday, so you probably get 2 episodes this week, and then you will get 1 episode this Wednesday, and then I'm gonna drop another episode, and then y'all have a special guest next week. But pay attention to when your emotions start calling the shots, and pause and ask yourself, is this true, or is this just how I feel right now? And if you need to write it out, say it out loud, talk to somebody you trust. Don't walk this alone. Before I let you go, I want to leave you with this affirmation to say of yourself. My emotions are valid, but they do not define my direction. I'm building something that feelings cannot break. Got it. Let me say that. My emotions, say it with me. My emotions are valid, but they do not define my direction. I'm building something that feelings cannot break. You gotta say it again. Say it with me. My emotions are valid. Your emotions are valid, but they do not define my direction. Come on, say it with me. They do not define my directions. I'm building something that even my feelings and your feelings cannot break. I love your family. This has been another episode of Legacy Builders Podcast. I will see you next week. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, And remember that you're building something that even your feelings cannot break. Peace out, family.